First day of school, and someone's already snoring through class. Introducing our protagonist, Cao Dongji, who lives by the motto, dream in class, rule the streets after. Trouble arrives instantly. A bleached blonde repeater thug, flexing his seniority, singles out Dongji for a little talk in the restroom. The vibe is off from the word go, and his friends are straight up panicking. His friend pulls him back, warning that these repeaters are troublemakers with a thick skull. But Dongji's confidence is off the charts. It's fine, man. He walks right into their trap, looking less like a negotiator and more like a one-man raid. Bingo. The moment he steps in, he's surrounded. The punks, impressed by his apparent toughness, try to recruit him, even bragging about their repeater status. Dongji just scoffs. Is repeating a year something to brag about? Pathetic losers. The insult lands like a grenade. The fuse is lit. Negotiations are over. Dongji doesn't hesitate. It's not a schoolyard fight. It's a one-sided beatdown. He unleashes a flurry of strikes, so fast and fierce it feels like a different game entirely. One man chasing down four. Pure chaos. The dust settles with the punks on the ground. Dongji's glare is pure ice. I'm not interested in your thug games. Call me again, and you're dead. Mic drop. Exit stage left, until the bathroom door opens to reveal a new challenger. A literal wall of muscle. Suddenly, the room feels a lot smaller. Awkward turtle. The giant is so freaked out by Dongji's murderous aura, he stammers. I just came to pee. Dongji cracks a smile. All right, do your business, mentally noting the strange contrast. Crisis averted? Not quite. The bell rings, signaling a pop quiz of a different kind. Pop quiz time. The teacher looks ready to snap as she slams the exam deadline. Meanwhile, Dongji's making a bet with his buddy. Loser buys Jajangmyeon. But that smug grin? It's about to disappear. You can feel the incoming karma. Scores are in. Cao Dongji dead last. Congratulations, you've won a week of toilet duty. Dongji's jaw hits the floor. Serve him right. Hearing friends invite him to hang out after school while he's clutching a mop. He sums it up. This is hell. A week of bathroom purgatory has birthed a new rule. Walking home, he declares, starting tomorrow, anyone who smokes in the toilet is getting wrecked. For real. He's officially the bathroom sheriff. But a distraction waits just around the corner. Bam! A gorgeous girl in an unfamiliar uniform walks by, long hair flowing, backlit by the sun like a scene from a drama. Dongji is frozen. His brain short circuits. Wow, so freaking pretty. Which school uniform is that from? All bathroom regulations are instantly forgotten. The dream is short-lived. Reality smacks him with news. A friend got jumped outside the arcade. Members of Yangxiang Technical High, brutal. Dongji sees his friend's swollen face. The fuse lit in the bathroom earlier? It's about to ignite the whole block. Confrontation time. The Yangxiang punks are strutting, all cocky. Hey, the Daecheong High punks. If you can't fight, at least carry enough money, right? That's like pouring gasoline on a fire. Dongji's eyes narrow to dangerous slits. They keep taunting. Daecheong guys sure act tough. Until they get beaten up, right? Dongji takes a deep breath and delivers a line that cuts the chatter. All you punks know is ganging up on people. Is it? What? You son of a. The leader charges in a rage. But Dongji was waiting. A glint in his eye, a smirk on his lips. Two words in his mind. Gotcha. The counterattack is on. Whoa. The explosion of power is visceral. A punch shuts one up, a kick sends another flying. Dongji dives into the fray like a beast, fists and feet moving like wind, catching the whole crew flat-footed. This isn't a fight. It's a public execution. In the chaos, he snatches a pipe, upping the intimidation factor. Come at me, he roars at the survivors. His injured friend can only tremble and whisper, Dongji. It's officially one versus the many, and he is the many. Game over. On the street stands a furious Dongji, surrounded by bewildered punks. Pipe in hand, breathing hard, an absolute icon of control violence. He's not done. It's time to set the rules. He points at the downed Yangxiang army. We knew you were messing with our Daecheong guys. We'll let slide this time. But if I hear that Yangxiang guys are bullying again, you're all dead. If you understand, scram. The warning isn't a threat, it's a promise. With the chaos handled, Dongji's mind shifts to his injured friend. Walking along, lost in thought, hope Chanhyuk's okay, he suddenly hears his name. A familiar voice. He turns to find his middle school buddy, Gyu Cheol. A long overdue reunion. The excitement is mutual, but Dongji's focus is already drifting to the two girls with him. Wait, isn't that the girl from earlier? The one with the pretty uniform? And the other is Gyu Cheol's girlfriend. Introductions are made. This is Dongji. This is Kwon Sunyoung. They shake hands, their gazes meeting. But something about her bright eyes and sweet name sets off little shockwaves in Donggil's mind. Kwon Sun Young. That's a really nice name. Oh, the heart is officially interested. After parting ways, he's still replaying the encounter. Sun Young saw me, too? Holding his phone with her newly entered number, he can't help but puff out his chest and laugh. Hell, yeah, I got her number. The pure, unadulterated teenage glee is plastered all over his face. But joy is a fleeting thing. Just soaking in the butterflies, his old friends arrive with reinforcements. The park punks have put out an APB. Spotting him, their eyes lock on. IT was that bastard. You're dead now. Trouble never waits for a good mood to pass. A brutal brawl erupts. Kill that bastard, echoes down the street. Trapped? Donggil doesn't think so. He moves first. His movements are fluid, ghost-like, sending one opponent flying with a punch, another with a kick. The more come at him, the more the thrill of battle burns. The attacks rain down. A cheap shot from the side, a flying kick from behind. You son of a... Donggil grits his teeth through the pain. But his counter is even fiercer. A knee strike, then he disarms an opponent midair and turns their own weapon against them. The fight is brutal, but his spirit is unbreakable. He is a whirlwind of fists, elbows, and knees. Every motion is a masterpiece of controlled chaos. Whoosh! Another devastating punch connects, snapping a head back. Anyone still thinking of jumping and witnesses this carnage and second-guesses their life choices. The frenzy reaches a momentary pause. Push back, Donggil and the pack separate. Knowing he can't take them all head-on here, he darts into an alley, a blur of motion. He's running. Get him! But look at his eyes. This isn't retreat. It's repositioning. The hunting's not over. Donggil just got Sun Young's number, on cloud 9, for about 3 seconds. Because the goons he beat up in the park just returned with reinforcements. Oh, you want to run now? Too late. Talk about a bad timing. Donggil is literally in midair when they swarm him. They think their numbers are enough. But they have no idea this student just graduated from hellish training under a bald mountain monk. This ain't street brawling, it's real combat. Mess around in MY neighborhood. You picked the wrong guy. Let every single body on this street hear this. My name is Yo Dongji. Remember that in your bones. Come back for more. I'll be waiting. News of the fight spreads like wildfire. Donggil gets called to the teacher's office. You think he's getting scolded? Wrong. The teacher pats his shoulder. Better to hit than be hit, but know your limits. Damn, this teacher gets it. The teachers just casually sweep the incident under the rug. It's so smooth it leaves Donggil a bit shocked. Walking out, a thought crosses his mind. Our teachers are pretty cool. But a bigger storm is brewing just around the corner. Now, the date with Sun Young is the real deal. In the cafe, Donggil's palms are sweating. But Sun Young is anything but predictable. She thinks that whole cherry juice secret admirer code is lame and stupid. Donggil is officially flustered. But who could have predicted her next line? Then I'll have cherry juice too. Just one sentence, and it shatters Donggil's entire defense system. His mind is flooded with internal screaming. What? What does that mean? He walks her to the study room, practically tripping over his own feet. Then a patrolling teacher spots him. Your shirt's not buttoned properly. What's on your mind? Busted. His nervousness gave him away. Before he can even process his sweet embarrassment, disaster comes knocking. His friend bursts in, panic-stricken. Those psychos from Yongseong Tech are here. It's because of that Gil-soo guy you wrecked. No escape now. Donggil's eyes turn cold. These idiots have lost it. Let's go. Face to face on the street outside. The leader in orange calls him out by name. Heard you took down 21 of Gil-soo's guys alone. That true. A challenge. A direct, mocking challenge. Donggil goes to retort, but the guy cuts him off. Revenge for that loser? We're not close. I'm just curious about you. He licks his lips. Let's fight. What the hell? Donggil's internal alarm is blaring. This guy's a total psycho. Just leave. Leaving? Not an option. Scared? Afraid you'll lose? That 1v21 was just a bluff, right? A nobody like you could never beat, even a weakling like Gil-soo. Psychological warfare. Crude, but it works. Donggil's temper officially ignites. The goons are still shouting about a group fight. Donggil ignores them, eyes locked on Orange Jacket. Enough talk. One-on-one. Until one of us can't get up. You in. The man smirks. Deal. Pathetic. The real fight is on. The battleground is an abandoned industrial zone. Donggil just gets in a stance, and the guy sucker punches him mid-sentence. It's fast, it's heavy. Donggil takes the full brunt of it. That guy's fast. Donggil calls him a coward. Orange Jacket just scoffs. Winning by any means is what matters, dumbass. The assault is relentless, a storm of blows. Donggil takes hit after hit. pain bringing tears to his eyes. This bastard. But Dongil was trained in the mountains. Taking hits is his specialty. He spots an opening and unleashes a vicious low kick. You're not the only one with feet, asshole. The fight goes white hot. Every exchange sounds like hammers on anvil. The spectators are stunned. That orange guy is a beast. Is Dongil gonna lose? But Dongil is waiting, timing it perfectly. He notes internally. He's gassed. If I land just one clean hit, his moment has arrived. Orange Jacket is still cocky. Who said I'd let you stomp me? But Dongil is done waiting. He channels all his power, the fury from the mountains, into one devastating right cross. Boom! Fist meets fist. It's not a contest of strength. It's Dongil's desperate counterblow. The smug look on Orange Jacket's face shatters. The impact lifts him off his feet, slamming him into the metal frame behind him. It's over. Silence falls over the scene. The goons' jaws are on the floor. It's over. But their boss is a high school kickboxing champion. How does he lose to some street thug? On the ground, the beaten Orange Jacket pushes himself up on his elbows. He looks at Dongil. The mockery is gone, replaced by a strange glint of interest. So you've got a kickboxing base? No wonder you're decent. He wipes blood from his mouth. The explosive tension between them just evaporates. The guy in orange, Hochiol, tosses him a drink. Sometimes, you just have to beat the respect into someone. Over their drinks, Hochiol learns Dongil had to quit kickboxing due to an injury. His eyes light up. He immediately tries to recruit Dongil into his older brother's connected business, promising big money. That sounds shady as hell. Dongil shuts it down instantly. Harpass, my real brother's a cop. Hochiol freezes, then bursts out laughing. The son of a cop and the son of whatever he is becoming friends? The world works in mysterious ways. Hochiol doesn't push it. He just claps Dongil's shoulder. Fine. Friends are friends. That's all that matters. That warmth, that simple declaration, hits Dongil right in the chest. In a city this chaotic, having a friend like this, maybe it's not so bad. Chaos erupts. Kim Hochiol grabs his friend, shouting something about brains over brawn, but his rage is boiling over. This soul trash thinks they can just roll into his city and push them around? Hell no. It's too late. Blind fury takes over. You bastard. You took down Hochiol. One hate-fueled punch connects, and there's no stopping the escalation now. The shouts to stop fall on deaf ears. Joe Dongil is on one knee, but the fire in his eyes is far from extinguished. Kim Okeod, is this all you've got? He's not just challenging his friend. He's questioning the very reason he returned to this mess. The immediate fight ends, but the tension lingers. Someone lifts a bag, the action laced with caution. This isn't closure. It's just the calm before a different kind of storm, packed away in plain sight. Post-fight protocol. Share a drink. You fought hard. A simple gesture in a complicated world. But even camaraderie gets awkward when someone blurts out their hatred for thugs, a label that hits a little too close to home for everyone present. On a high platform overlooking the city, Hochiol pops the big question. Future plans. Boxer or college? Joe Dongil's answer is a punch in itself. Kickboxing? Done. Injury. The oldest story in sports. A drink box drops, mirroring his sinking hopes. Hochiol isn't giving up. My brother can get you in. Benefits like grating beef. Joe Dongil can't help but smirk. Grating. His brother is a cop. His only real options are the army or getting handled by his detective father. Not much of a choice, is it? Rubbing a sore wrist, Joe Dongil looks at Hochiol. A friend's just a friend. Why complicate it? Yeah. Hochiol grins back. For a brief moment, bathed in golden light, their city feels like home again. But a tiny warning from Thunder Team is already written on the wall. Rewind to a sunnier time. All right, taking the picture. Kwon Sun-young directs the scene. The click of a shutter about to capture a moment of pure, weightless youth by the sea. A memory so simple, it hurts to look back on now. Snapshots of laughter and pranks. Sun-young draws in the sand. What are you drawing? A comic character? Comic? No way, this is you. A goofy, misshapen doodle that somehow makes the playful punches of youth taste a little sweeter. That's supposed to be me? Isn't that too much? Joe Dongil sees the portrait and loses it. Look at the details. Sun-young is a real artist. A friend fans the flames. Another chase along the beach erupts, laughter louder than the waves. Back then, even their punches didn't hurt. The sweet, naive pride of almost graduates. Now that we're adults, should we go for drinks? Of course. Standing by the lighthouse, they felt the whole ocean of life before them. They didn't see the riptide already forming beneath the calm surface. But the city's unspoken rules were always lurking. A casual suggestion, an apology deemed insincere, and the fuse was lit. Is that how you apologize? With that face. To the seniors, you were always just a kid who needed to learn your place. Donggil's blood is boiling. I apologize, so why are you cursing? Are you picking a fight right now? Friends try to pull him back, but the humiliated rage is a wildfire now. Sun Young watches, worry in her eyes. He hasn't changed, still a loaded gun, ready to go off. A deep breath. I'll apologize again. I am Soda Kropka. He swallows his pride. Not for himself, but for his friends. The bullies mistake it for weakness. Total pushovers, they sneer. Come with us instead. Let's have some real fun. The line is crossed. The words total pushovers snap the last thread of restraint. These guys, you little punks talking like that to your elders? The comeback is pure arrogance. Then crack. Cao Donggil's fist explodes against the sneering face. What he learned in the mountains wasn't patience. It was how to put scum down. All hell breaks loose. You punks are dead. Dead? Who's dying? The street turns into a war zone. Cao Donggil is a furious whirlwind, moving through them. The sickening thuds of fists on flesh, the crack of bone, the screams. Any pretense of peace is burned away by the wildfire of violence. As the dust settles, Cao Donggil spits blood. Don't pick fights with just anyone. You're not even worth a punch. He turns to leave, the lesson delivered. But on the ground, a battered face glows with the light of a phone screen. In the distance, red and blue police lights begin to pulse. At the police station, frantic teenage voices plead. They started it. They were harassing her. You still can't solve things with your fists, the cop replies mechanically. Cao Donggil leans against the wall, silent. He knows the script. The ending is always the same, a mess. Then, a voice cuts through the noise. A voice that turns his blood cold. No settlement. Cao Donggil looks up and meets the furious gaze of his own brother, the detective, through the glass partition. Oh hell, the mess just found its way home. Brother's face off through glass, the air thick with tension. An old cop recognizes him. A bit reckless, huh? His brother grits his teeth. What happened? Cao Donggil's jaw is tight. We didn't do anything wrong. Want to settle? His brother's laugh is cold. Settle? You think you can threaten people because he's my brother? Not a chance. Outside, his brother explodes. You've got quite the criminal record. Tied to the Wang Nuni gang? Maybe we should dig deeper. Cao Donggil's head throbs. His brother jabs a finger at him. When will you grow up? If Dad finds out, you're dead. You idiot. Sun Young is pale. If Chai Yun wasn't coming today, you'd already be dead. Cao Donggil's mind goes blank. Nuna's coming? He'd completely forgotten. And then, at the market entrance, he spots her, a familiar figure with a shopping bag, walking straight toward a speeding black car. Chai Yun. A man leans out of the car window, the creep who won't leave her alone. Heard you got a job in Seoul. The fake pleasantries are laced with poison. Her expression hardens, and she turns to leave. Chai Yun, let's talk. His voice turns urgent, demanding, chasing after her. In a dark alley, the mask finally slips. Just because I was being nice, you're getting cocky. I said I wanted to talk. He grabs her arm, brutal and possessive. Fear floods her eyes. Don't do this. I told you no so many times. What's wrong with me? Why don't you like me? Sick obsession curdles into violence. How am I supposed to trust a thug like you? I'm not a thug, he pleads. Grabbing someone and harassing them. What else do you call that? Her fear reaches a boiling point and erupts as rage. Kaya, a desperate punch, for herself, against all of it. Cao Donggil arrives just as the creep grabs his sister's wrist. You son of a b******. Vanadi. Something primal, honed in mountains, takes over. He's a blur, a crashing fist that sends the man sprawling. This is self-defense, right? He pants. From the shadows, another man steps forward, gaze icy. Who am I? I'm her family. Up a stop. Donggil, you too. His sister's scream pierces the night. Too late. More men spill from the car, faces set for trouble. Boss, you bastards. Get rid of them. Weapons are drawn. Cao Donggil's heart plummets. This isn't a street fight anymore. It's a hornet's nest. In the cramped space, clubs swing. Hyen. Ga. Cao Donggil fights desperately, but he's outnumbered and outgunned. A crushing blow to his ribs sends white-hot pain through him, vision swimming. Is this it? Back in Eugen, still unable to protect a damn thing? Just as he's about to break, a roar, old but thunderous, splits the air. You punks. Two grown men getting beat up? Pathetic. Fighting through the haze, Cao Donggil lifts his head. Striding into the carnage is a mountain of a man with white hair, his master. The training is over. The real test is now. The Zhou household explodes. Donggil and his brother kneel on the floor, one explaining why they fought, the other bragging about how they won. Their cop father is livid, roaring at them in disgust. Detectives? Police? He doesn't have sons who cause trouble like this. He knows one thing for sure. If he doesn't do something drastic now, this reckless boy is heading straight for prison. Banished to the mountains by his own father, Dongil swallowed his anger and made the trek. Finally, he stood before the fabled Daejok temple. I'm looking for Monk Yanggong, he asked the young monks. They just stare back, confused. Who? Yanggong? No one here by that name. Dongil's mind went blank. Dad, we didn't get scammed, did you? Thankfully, not everyone at the temple was clueless. The head monk arrived. Young man, why are you looking for that old man Yanggong? Dongil perked up. I'm here for training. He's supposed to be here, right? His dad's money couldn't have been for nothing. But the old monk's smile seemed to hold a hint of you have no idea what you're in for. Of course, Yanggong wasn't at the temple at all. They pointed him onward, higher up, deeper in. Dongil was speechless. Did the old man live on the damn moon? No choice. Money was paid. With nothing but a rickety wooden staff, he began an endless, unprepared trek into the heart of the wilderness. The mountain path was endless. Sweat stung his eyes. His lungs screamed like a busted bellows. Damn. How much further? He gasped between curses. This wasn't training. It was homicide. But turning back, the thought of his father's face? No, the unknown ahead seemed slightly more appealing. Half dead from exhaustion, he finally spotted a tiny, ramshackle village tucked in a valley. He mustered his last shred of energy and roared, Yanggong, where are you? His voice echoed through the valley, unanswered except by a few birds. He was starting to wonder if the entire martial arts world was playing a prank on him. And then he appeared, an old man with a red cap and a white beard, hands on his hips, looking at the sweaty, disheveled mess of a young man with a smile. Huh, look who it is. His tone was as casual as if he'd just finished afternoon tea. Dongil choked on his next breath. So you knew I was lost out here this whole time? Dongil collapsed, utterly spent. Yanggong strolled over, took a sip of water, and looked him over. TSK, a young guy whining? Heard you could fight, but you're pretty weak. Dongil's temper flared. I made it up here. A normal person wouldn't even get this far. He demanded to know why the old man lived in such a high place. Yanggong's reply was curt. Enough. We'll talk later. Training? Not even close. The scene took a wild turn. Just as Dongil caught his breath, a delivery guy appeared out of nowhere. Delivery's here. A bowl of jajangmyeon was handed over. Dongil's brain short-circuited. You can get delivery up here. To make it worse, the old man only ordered one bowl and demanded 2 extra fried eggs on top. The delivery guy was screaming inside. Dongil realized 2 things. This old man was a fraud, and a picky, entitled one at that. After finishing the meal, a thought struck Dongil as he stared at the empty bowl. Monks can eat meat? The old man instantly bristled. Scratch, shut up, kid. The next moment, the verdict was delivered. Training starts now. Before Dongil could process it, a red bucket full of dirty laundry flew at him. Where was the legendary martial arts training he dreamed of? Laundry duty. Dongil snapped. Washing, fetching water, cooking. He was just a live-in maid. He yelled at Yanggong. I came here to learn, not to be your servant. The old man didn't even blink. This is the start of the training. The final blow, Yanggong stated plainly that the money from Dongil's father was paid, non-refundable. Dongil was trapped. Money spent, energy wasted, and 0 skills gained. Escape? Impossible. All that money was paid. How could he go back and face his father now? The cop would skin him alive. Dongil looked at his hands, meant for clenched fists, now soaking in soapy water. Just accept it. He gritted his teeth. At least survive today. The days dragged on. The old man bossed him around without mercy, sending Dongil spinning like a top-up and down the mountain trails for water. He'd occasionally toss a fake, be careful Dongil's way, but the moment Dongil sighed, a sly, fox-like grin would appear. Then hurry up. At sunset, hauling the heavy loads, Dongil watched the fiery clouds with one thought. Dad, where on earth did you find this crazy old monk? The chores were endless. Digging, chopping, hard labor, all under the grand title of training. Dongil had had enough. He stormed to confront the old man, only to find a blonde girl leisurely sipping coffee. So he was the only one slaving away while everyone else was enjoying a mountain resort vacation? The blonde girl left. Dongil finally exploded. When does the actual training start? Did I come here to be a housekeeper? The old man called him a noisy brat. Unfazed, Dongil pushed. I want real training. The old man narrowed his eyes. You know how to fight? Land a single hit on me, and we start real training. Instantly, Dongil's fighting spirit ignited. Bring it on. But a split second later, Doubt crept in. This was a monk. Was it even right? All right. Monk, keep your word. Dong-gil pointed a confident finger. The old man simply replied, fine, step up. The next moment, the sky seemed to crack open, pressure bearing down on Dong-gil. The old man's final, low warning boomed in his ears. Don't regret this. He moved in the blink of an eye. 3 months of frustration and anger fueled his charge. Blinding speed, intimidating force. Yet the old man didn't even shift his stance, merely raising a palm. Thump! Dong-gil felt like he'd slammed into an iron wall. Every ounce of his power rebounded instantly, sending him flying backward. Again, refusing to believe it, Dong-gil launched another furious assault. Every punch was thrown with desperate power, his shouts echoing. But the old man was like a ghost, so fast Dong-gil could only see after images. He even had the nerve to comment, too slow. Before Dong-gil could react, a brutal kick smashed in his gut, sending his organs into chaos. A horrifying realization dawned on him. The gap between them was an uncrossable chasm. The old man stood with his hands behind his back by the fence, chuckling lightly. Mama! The laughter echoed through the empty mountains, brimming with absolute control. Dong-gil stood with his back to him, gasping for air, every last shred of defiance crushed for the first time. Defeated. Utterly. The promised single hit? He hadn't even touched the old man's clothes. Kneeling on the ground, he listened to the casual verdict. You failed. As promised, go back to what you were doing. Humiliation mingled with physical agony. Yet from the depths of that defeat, a fiercer conviction surged. How does an old man have that kind of strength? Dong-gil looked up, his eyes burning with a new intensity. I have to learn this. On this day, he finally couldn't hold back. He rushed over to the old man. Monk, I need to talk to you. It's been 3 months. I've done everything you asked. Please, teach me something. Yanggong sounded annoyed. That again? He patted the stool. Sit. Then he asked a strange question. That delivery guy who brings the Chinese food, did you see him panning coming up here? Dong-gil was confused. That's because he's used to it. He does it every day. The old man slapped his knee. Exactly. Training martial arts is the same. His voice suddenly turned solemn, profound, as if speaking from an ancient shrine. Serious, deep in thought, solemn. Visions seemed to shimmer behind him. A man cutting vegetables blindfolded with focus, another forging beside flames, fragments of countless ascetics in arduous training. Dong-gil sensed it. What the old man was about to impart wasn't just about fists and kicks anymore. But before the epiphany could settle, reality slapped him. The old man pointed at a boulder taller than a man. See that? You want training? Move it 1 meter, and I'll start. Dong-gil almost laughed. Are you kidding? That rock weighed a ton. The old man smiled. Can't do it? Then you're unworthy of my training. Fine. Dong-gil gritted his teeth. He was all in today. With a roar, he planted his feet, hands against the cold stone, pushing with everything he had. Veins bulged, sweat poured. But the boulder stood motionless, as if rooted. The old man tooted mockingly beside him. Dong-gil saw red. 3 months of hauling water, chopping wood, and the sting of ridicule. He poured it all into his arms. Move. Thud, a heavy, dull sound. A miracle. The seemingly eternal, unmovable boulder actually shifted just a fraction, and it settled again immediately. But the old man's mocking grin froze solid. His eyes widened, staring at the stone, then at his own calloused hands, as if seeing them for the first time. The sunset painted the mountaintop gold, wisps of cooking smoke rising. In the kitchen, Dong-gil shoveled his wok, sparks flying as ingredients sizzled and popped. He wasn't complaining anymore. He didn't even notice the old man watching him from a distance with a new, complex look in his eyes. That tiny shift, insignificant as it was like a stone dropped into the placid, worldly lake of the old man's mind, rippling something he hadn't felt in a long time. Genuine surprise. This brash kid. He might just be something? Life in the mountains is tough. Trying to soften up his master, Joe Dong-gil desperately tries to pass off some mystery dish as a meat stew. The sizzling pan can't mask the suspicious crunching sound from his own mouth. Rookie mistake. Busted. The old monk explodes. That idiot ate his secret stash of century-old, super-potent ginseng. The consequences are immediate and brutal. Dong-gil's entire body feels like it's on fire. The monk just watches with a cold smile before delivering the punishment kick. That's what you get for messing with the master's treasures. After the chaos, it's time to get serious. The old monk finally announces it. Real training begins today. Look at Dong-gil's eyes, pure, unfiltered excitement. Finally, moving past kitchen chores and stolen herbs. The actual trial? It starts now, and the grand real training starts with smashing rocks. Dongil is completely baffled. Is this a joke? The master's answer is a swift, painful thwack to the head. No questions, just smash. He's told this place is consecrated with the blood and sweat of generations. This isn't training, it's a test of will. Rock smashing was just the warm-up. Now comes the brutal precision training. A weighted bamboo pole, 3 hours a day, aiming for the wooden dummy's ear. The master shouts, echo, demanding perfect wrist power and lethal accuracy with every strike. Dongil's muscles scream, sweat pouring, every swing a lesson in control. Now for balance. On a pole above a deadly drop, don't fall. Then, the traditional method, getting swarmed by bees. While Dongil flails and gets stung, the master just laughs. This is what they call total conditioning, breaking the body and testing the mind's limits all at once. The training escalates. Beyond the forest, above the clouds, a test of even greater peril awaits among the cliffs. The master points to the sheer cliff face. This is the true final trial. Free climbing, no gear. And the bombshell drops. Throughout history, only one person has ever succeeded on the first try. Who? His own father. Standing before the impossible wall, Dongil's mind races. The man he longs to surpass, yet barely knows. His father's shadow looms larger than ever. He has to climb. Gritting his teeth, a fire ignites. I'll do it in one try too, he declares. His hands find purchase, his movements decisive from the very first grasp. The master watches, stunned. This drive, it's a haunting echo of the father he knew. There is no ease in the climb. Muscles scream with every hoist. Bare toes scrape and tremble against unforgiving stone. This is a raw, physical conversation between willpower and absolute limitation. Sweat blurs his vision, arms burn. But look up, the summit's line is visible now. I can see the top. He roars internally, scrounging new strength from his utter exhaustion. I can do this. Each thought is a lifeline. Finally, the last grasp. Fingers claw and lock into the rock, shards flying. This is the mark of conquest. But disaster strikes at the moment of triumph. Something happens at the summit. A scream tears through the night, echoing his name, Dongil. Consciousness returns to a world of pain. Bandaged head to toe, he's completely helpless. The old master tends to him gently, face etched with worry. The fall's aftermath is a nightmare. Endure, you'll be fine. Days later, Dongil jolts awake. But there's no pain. His body feels impossibly light, completely healed. This isn't right. Injuries like that don't vanish overnight. This is borderline monstrous. Why? The old man finally cracks, roaring the truth. Because you ate my 200-year-old wild ginseng. Dongil's jaw drops. It wasn't some superhuman recovery. It was that stolen, ancient herb that snatched him back from the brink. The monk grumbles. He was saving that treasure for a future wife. Wasted on this brat. But the foundation is laid. No more excuses. Cook, eat, and then we train for real. The ultimate hell training? It officially begins now. Beneath the roaring waterfall, he meditates. The thunder of the cascade drowns out all else. He must fully absorb that century of energy, let it flow and merge, transforming into the very source of his coming strength. Training. The master's roar is the starting gun. Dongil explodes into motion, sprinting through water, racing over rock. His focus shifts from endurance to pure, unadulterated force. Smashing boulders with his fists, shattering posts with his kicks. Speed. Power. Destruction. The ancient ginseng's power now fuels a brutal kinetic art. As the sun sets, the hell continues. Balancing on spikes with crushing weights in hand, every second is torture. The master offers no comfort, just a cold command. One more hour, sweat, tremors, roars of effort. This is the forge where a steel body is hammered into being. In the forest arena, he becomes the beast, dodging swarms, striking down every flying target. Not a single one can be missed. Faster, harder, hanging from a cliff edge by pure will, defying gravity itself. This isn't training anymore. It's pushing himself to the absolute brink, then breaking through. Climb up, fall down, climb again. From agonizing tumbles to finally standing victorious atop a pinnacle, arms raised in triumph. He's doing it. Every fall, every victory. With each conquered summit, the old Cao Dongji dies a little more, and a newer, far more dangerous creature is born. His technique is honed to a razor's edge. He can strike fish from a stream with ease. Too easy, he dares to think. Famous last words. An impossible force from the water slams into him, sending him flying. Even the fish in this mountain are a deadly challenge. But a far greater trouble brews. His master is cornered in the woods, menaced by a giant, crimson-eyed, fully enraged wild boar. This thing is a living engine of destruction. The old monk's face is sheet-white with terror. Acting on pure instinct, Dongil blitzes into the fray. Master, a second slower and you were done. He yanks the stunned old man to safety. But the beast's fury is now fully focused, unrelenting. You run now. Dongil shoves his master away, planting himself squarely between the old man and the rampaging monster. Thunder scans copyright warning. Run. But his master is too slow. The boar charges like a landslide, tusks gleaming. A split second from goring him. At the last moment, Dongil shoves the old man aside with full force, leaving himself wide open, directly in the beast's path. In that instant, the look in Dongil's eyes shifts. It's no longer the focus of training, but the feral rage of a cornered beast. You damn boar. He takes a skull-rattling headbutt, blood and fury mingling. His fists become sledgehammers, pounding the creature's head with bone-crunching force. This is a primal brawl. Man versus beast, no technique, just raw, desperate violence. D. The forest becomes a slaughterhouse of pure impact sounds and his enraged roars. This brutal battle, more than any training, marks Cao Dongil's complete and utter transformation. As the dust settles, the distant village remains peaceful. But the boy who will return from these mountains? He is a different creature entirely. One last wild boar feast in the mountains. Dongil thinks he's set for days. He doesn't realize his master's eyes are literally glowing with awe. This kid took down a boar with his bare hands? Getting cocky after your training? Dongil warns his master. Master Yurgong just scoffs, telling him to hurry up before he dies of old age. Then, bam, their fists collide in a shockwave of power. A final handshake. Master says he won't get beaten up so easily now. Dongil plays it cool. But as he walks away, the old monk's words, Dongil, you can leave the mountain now, bring out a genuine, hard-earned smile. The bus pulls into Uljan. The smell of the city hits him. And so does the view. A daytime street brawl in full swing. Feels like I'm really back home, Dongil mutters, a mix of nostalgia and tension in his eyes. Hold on. That guy getting the beat down, is that Ho Chiol? Dongil's eyes widen. He shouts at the driver to stop, but the driver dismisses him. Damn it. Trapped on the bus while his friend fights for his life. The soul thugs close in for the kill. The command is brutal. Hey, make sure you finish him off. Ho Chiol is cornered, beaten, and out of time. Thwack. Someone takes the hit for Ho Chiol. Through the dust, a familiar silhouette stands guard. Dongil, the prodigal son, is back. Who the hell are you, swinging weapons around in my neighborhood? Country bumpkins, the thug spits. Dongil's smile turns predatory. You are dead. In a blur, the guy who just landed a solid hit is the one laid out cold on the pavement. All hell breaks loose. One against many. Dongil moves with the brutal efficiency of his training. From a distance, the red-haired boss watches, a cold smirk on his face. That bastard still fights just as well, huh? A heavy blow connects to his head. He stumbles, shakes it off. The pain only fuels his fury. This son of a... Time to show these soul bastards what an Uljan fist really tastes like. He turns the tide, sending them flying. They even pull knives. But a distant shout of police cuts through the chaos. Dongil's instincts kick in. Let's get out of here. A tactical retreat, leaving their boss fuming. They make it to a rundown apartment behind a yellow door. But the boss's threat echoes. Uljan punks, we see you again, you're dead. They're safe for now, but the war is far from over. Old friends, cheap drinks, and memories of schoolyard fights. Ho Chiol throws around the term boss loosely, but there's a new weight to it. Things have changed. The conversation turns grim. Soul gangs are pushing into Uljan for redevelopment profits. Dongil explains his disappearance, sent to the mountains. And the girl he liked, Sun Young, she's in Seoul now too. The mood shifts. Ho Chiol makes his pitch. He invites Dongil into the life, Wolia. He calls it a legit business. Dongil doesn't hesitate. Not happening, man. I'm not into gangs. Alkeol Bushisardir. He describes Kong Suk-jin, the chairman of Wolia, a man with a presence so overwhelming, he's practically the king of Uljan. If Uljan united under him, even Seoul would back down. Dongil looks around the dusty, spiderweb hideout. He listens to the grand vision of a united Uljan underworld. But one question screams in his mind. If this organization is so powerful, why are they stuck in a place like this? Official copyright warning page. Scanlation team support call. Please read on the official website. The pressure mounts. Ho Chi-ol and his crew talk promotions, respect, the boss's concern. But Dongil's final no slams the door shut. The path he wants to walk is a different one. His final argument: my brother is a cop. They counter with a business card, Wolia Media, Strategic Planning Department, all up front. Dongil's had enough. I should head home. My dad's probably worried. Escaping the tense apartment, he breathes free air. The gang life isn't for him. His master's words echo: don't get into unnecessary fights. Little does he know, trouble has a way of finding you. Need a haircut before facing dad. A simple trim, he thinks. The barber's scissors move with terrifying speed, slicing through air and maybe a scalp. This might be the most intense fight of the day. New haircut, new trauma. He vows never to return to that barber. Walking the familiar streets, memories flood back. Uljan hasn't changed, but has he? Crash. The sound of shattering glass shatters the peace. Down the street, a crew of thugs is tearing apart a butcher shop. That old butcher shop is still around? Before he can reminisce, he sees it. The elderly butcher tries to reason, only to be struck down with a club. Rage ignites behind Dongil's eyes. Soul again, forcing out local businesses for redevelopment. A local man protests, only to be brutalized. You want to die? We say move, you move. This isn't business, it's pure tyranny. One man reaches his breaking point. His friend pleads with him, warns him the police have given up. He roars back. You know how much money I've lost because of these bastards? I'm done holding back. A man pushed too far grabs a meat cleaver. Today it's you or me. It's not a fight. It's a desperate, suicidal last stand against overwhelming odds. Not leaving? I'll kill you all. The desperate butcher throws a wild, furious punch. This isn't about property. This is about his home, his life, his right to exist. That punch just turned his face into a grimace of pure agony. Thinking about pulling a knife? Too late for that now. Didn't listen to the warning, did you? Now you'll be beaten until you can't hear anything anymore. This street beats to the rhythm of one side's violence, and one side only. That bastard. I can't just stand by and watch. Trying to run? You'll have to get through my fists first. One decisive punch, and the opponent was left utterly dazed. Scorched earth. Let's go, brothers. Wipe them out, every last one. The whole block erupts into a brutal battleground in an instant. Caught in a pincer, taken down in seconds. Punk, lower your eyes. A pair of perfectly polished dress shoes stop in front of him, signaling the brutal end of this one-sided beatdown. Rage materialized into a single, devastating blow. A contemptuous TSK marks the moment all fight leaves his opponent's body. Eugen is our territory. Does a rat from Seoul really think it can cause trouble here? One punch is all it takes to teach you a lesson. You still dare to mention your chairman? Blood sprays, teeth shatter. One move, total collapse. Anyone else want to spout nonsense? Bring on, all at once. Clean up the mess. Take their bosses to the hospital. The immediate threat is over, but a figure in a sporty jacket has already stepped into the eye of the storm. Talk about bad luck. As Dongil and his crew settle in for a barbecue at LA Kupchung, guess who walks right in? The same Seoul gangsters they just beat to a pulp earlier today. The air freezes solid the second they lock eyes. It's a standoff waiting to explode. The suited-up Seoul thugs instantly recognize Ho Chi-ol and the others as Wolia members. Combining today's beating with this gang rivalry, it's a powder keg of pure rage. With a single nod from their leader, the Seoul crew swarms them, cutting off any escape. One goon points his finger, shouting that this is the guy who dared to oppose their boss at the redevelopment site earlier. The accusation sticks, and there's no walking back from this. Dongil tries to play dumb, but they expose his presence at the earlier incident like an open secret. Then comes the knockout punch. The boss in the red suit sneers. I saw Kong Suk-jin driving right past you. Spill it. What's your connection with Chairman Kong? It's an accusation that seals his fate. Dongil's mind races. We're completely marked now. Explanations are a luxury they can't afford. The moment the words die, violence erupts. A devastating punch that takes down not just him, but sends his friend flying on impact. The enemy boss roars. What are you waiting for? Get them. Dongil's eyes narrow. In a blur of speed, his body tenses, a spring coiling to strike. He's already moving before the command finishes echoing. The fight explodes into chaos. One immense punch shatters the restaurant's outer wall. Glass and debris fly everywhere, turning the street into a war zone. In the frenzy, Dong-soo, a member of Dongil's crew, gets cornered. Outnumbered and outmaneuvered, he's seconds away from being stomped into the ground. Watching his brother hit the dirt, Dongil's fury explodes. A primal roar shakes the air. Don't touch Dong-soo. He morphs into a blur of yellow and brown, a supersonic kick launching the thug about to stomp into the stratosphere. The kick leaves everyone stunned. The smug soul thugs stare, jaws on the floor, as their comrade flies like a rag doll. What the hell is that strength? One thinks in horror. But retreat is impossible. Crush them. Don't hold back just because they're kids, he bellows, rallying his men to swarm with everything they've got. The street instantly transforms into Donggil's personal dojo. Fist crack bone, his movements are a blur. Even against multiple armed opponents, he gives no ground, his power defying all odds. One exchange is all it takes. A few heavy punches from Donggil send seasoned fighters crumpling, clutching their guts in agony. He takes a couple of solid hits himself, but his eyes only burn brighter. The intensity has bystanders convinced someone's going to die. One considers calling the cops, but is stopped by a cold voice. Can't you tell? They're all gangsters. Who cares if they kill each other? This world is numb to street-level carnage. Desperate and losing in a straight fight, a cowardly soul thug sinks to a new low. He pulls a knife. A sneer spreads across his face as he lunges from behind. Too late, punk, he hisses, aiming for a fatal backstab. At the last possible second, a frantic warning screams out, Donggil, behind you. Pure, primal instinct honed in the mountains takes over. Donggil twists his body impossibly fast. The blade misses its mark, carving a bloody line across his ribs instead of piercing his heart. Donggil looks at the cut, then back up at his attacker. The air around him shifts from hot anger to a glacial, predatory calm. What do you mean, mess with the wrong person? Before the last syllable fades, he's already a ghost in motion. The knife wielder tries to spit a retort, but in the very next instant, an iron grip crushes his wrist from a seemingly impossible angle. A sickening crack echoes, followed by a blood-curdling scream as the knife clatters to the pavement. Useless. With their leader disabled, the Soul Crew's fighting spirit shatters into dust. Donggil stands amid the chaos like a vengeful deity. He stares down at the whimpering thugs and issues his final warning. Stay out of my town and go back to Seoul. Then, louder for everyone in earshot. Anyone who dares set foot in Eugen again, I'll be waiting. A battered underling, half-conscious, dares to spit venom. Wait till our real guys from Seoul arrive. Eugen's finished. Donggil doesn't even flinch. He walks over and delivers a final, silencing kick. Call whoever you want, he states with chilling calmness. I'll take them all on. In the aftermath, the battered remnants of the Seoul Crew huddle in a grim corner. Disbelief reigns. Boss is down. We're done. What now? Retreat. You idiot. If we run back to Seoul with our tail between our legs, they'll finish the job. In the deep well of despair, a voice cuts through with cold, grim logic. We have only one path left, make the big players from Seoul themselves give up on Eugen. Under the city lights, Donggil looks at his crew, especially Ho Cheol, the friend who stood by him through it all. He clenches his fist and raises it, a vow spoken to the night and to his own soul. Until this is over. I'm helping Ho Cheol. With that, he steps fully into Eugen's bloody, bottomless abyss, no turning back. After the dust settles, a semblance of normalcy returns. Ho Cheol takes Donggil to his new stomping grounds, the field office for Wolia Media's enforcers. The first sight that greets them? The deputy manager, shirtless, his back a canvas of angry welts, grimacing as he slaps on another pain relief patch. Donggil is floored. Shouldn't you be in a hospital? The deputy manager just grins, waving at the patches. Real men don't need hospitals. A few painkillers do the trick. Besides, he locks eyes with Donggil, a fierce spark igniting. Knowing we've got a fighter like you on our side now, my pain's already gone. Ho Cheol sighs with a good-natured eye roll. Don't overdo it, man. This gangster vibe, it's not quite what Donggil pictured. The deputy manager, a whirlwind of motivation, starts laying out grand plans. We've been on the back foot due to lack of manpower, but your timing is perfect. Let's kick the soul scum out, take back our turf, and keep climbing. What do you say? Ho Cheol's fired up, but Donggil's reaction is a bucket of ice water. Facing the room full of expectant faces, Donggil's expression is unreadable. He shakes his head. Ho Cheol, I'm only helping until this mess with Seoul is over. Driving them out, protecting Eugen, that's it. Gangs and climbing the ladder? That's not for me. An awkward silence hangs in the air. The scarred senior guy in the corner just watches, a faint, unreadable smirk playing on his lips. Donggil's new job officially begins. On his first day, Ho Cheol walks him to the so-called field office, talking as they go. This is your new base. To show your face around, get familiar. Dongil eyes the ordinary-looking office building, thinking, this is a gang's headquarters? Really? No sooner do they step inside than they face a scowling, heavy-set man accompanied by a skinny, bespectacled assistant. The big guy spots them and unleashes a torrent of abuse. Lazing around again? Get your asses to the site. I heard you got your teeth kicked in by the soul trash. How are we supposed to secure the redevelopment project looking so weak? Hochul bows his head respectfully, taking the scolding. Once they're gone, he whispers, that's E.O. Lim, our chairman's right-hand man. They call him the Viper, and the name fits. He's in charge of the redevelopment mess. Dongil absorbs the info. Got it. Avoid him. Before they can move on, a voice calls out to them from the inside. Deputy manager, you're back. Inside, the team is slurping instant noodles. Ho Cheol steps in. Guys, this is my childhood friend, Joe Dongil. He's with the field team now, so get to know him. Dongil barely finishes saying hello when a guy stirring a bowl of jajangmyeon looks up. Hey Dongil, hungry? Want some jajangmyeon? The casual, friendly vibe throws him. This is a gang, right? You think gangsters just flex their tattoos all day? In Wolia Gang's base in Uljan, muscle-bound men are grinding it out in the gym. Between reps, one guy scoffs, and their line of work looks only get you so far. If you're not in shape, you get wrecked on business trips. Want to get promoted? You either bring in the money, or you prove yourself in the team competition. It's a Wolia Gang tradition. Win your spar, the boss gives you a promotion himself. While the guys are grinding outside, the mood inside is more casual. Kim Ho Cheol, after hearing the brutal promotion rules, just shrugs and thinks it sounds fun. He casually tears into a burger like he's hearing about a company outing. Meanwhile, as night falls, the neon lights of Wolia Media flicker on. A car door slams shut. Someone's already setting their sights on the prize. The peaceful hallway erupts in an instant. Han Seong, Chairman Kong Suk-jin's right-hand man in the red tie, shreds a document without a word, his fury filling the air. He barks at a hapless underling. Quit staring and clean this up. Elsewhere, tension is just as thick. A man grabs another by the collar and office door. Chairman, it's Lee Ji-young. A cold voice from within replies, come in. The calm before the storm has ended. In the office, Wolia Gang's chairman, the bald mastermind Kong Suk-jin, listens to a report, leaning on his cane. Bad news. The maniac from Seoul, Sankal from the Double Knife Gang, has arrived in Uljan. Representative Lim tries to mitigate, saying his men are on alert. But Kong isn't buying it. He slams his hand down. You think sending Director Lee Yun-song is enough to stop Sankal? The chairman's fury practically radiates off the screen. Kong Suk-jin narrows his eyes, his smile chilling. He begins to enlighten his subordinate about just how dangerous Sankal is. The guy's a powder keg. Can't become a true kingpin. Kong sneers. That's just lack of ambition. But in terms of raw power, he's a monster. Memories flash back to a bloody turf war during the Gangbuck Union days. Sankal went completely berserk, fighting in a frenzy so brutal it earned a legend of its own. Kang's eyes turned sharp at the recollection. Cut to Dosoro Fish Market. A burly, red-haired man with a scar is roaring. Trade my fish market, the one I built from scratch, for a failing arcade up north? Are you insane? The union's decree is cold and absolute. Comply or face war. But the fish market boss stands his ground. This place is mine. Gangster diplomacy is brutally simple. No deal? Then get ready for a fight. On a city street, a brown-haired man clenches his fists so hard they crackle, snarling, these bastards. Are they kidding me? He just got the message to back off, and fury burns within him. Simultaneously, inside the Vibes Club corridor, blood is already spilled. A group of thugs scream as they're taken down, a phantom-like figure moving among them. All that's left are the sickening thuds of impact and utter chaos. Sankal's men are on the move. Deep in the Vibes Club, under purple neon lights, the red-haired fish market boss from moments ago is now pinned like a crushed bug. He pleads desperately. Sankal, Mr. Lee, I was wrong. I won't touch the fish market. But the god of slaughter himself, Sankal, stands over him. Looking down at the pathetic figure, Sankal grins like a devil. You think, I didn't know you were planning to betray me? Enough talk. Time to retire. With that, his foot bears down with crushing force. A blade presses against the throat, sweat mingling with the fear of death. Mr. Lee, I'll do anything, just stop. The man on his knees is breaking. But in Sankal's eyes, there's no mercy, only cold bloodlust. Don't worry, boss. I'll let you live. Before the words even settle, a slash follows a horrific scream. Aag, the attacker, face splattered with blood, throws his head back and laughs maniacally. Ha ha ha. This isn't a negotiation. It's a massacre. The news hits Wolia headquarters. Chairman Kang Suk-jin, bald and imposing, sneers at the hesitant vice president before him. That Sankal guy wiped out a whole fish market gang, and now he's a union leader. Kang slams the table. If this escalates to all-out war, we're all finished. But we're the biggest power in Uljan. If we don't step up, who will? The vice president wavers, but finally gives a reluctant nod. Outside, dusk falls. The storm is inevitable. Crisis always brings opportunity. Behind Kang Suk-jin's bald head, gears are turning. He leans in, conspiring with his inner circle. The Uljan redevelopment project isn't just our concern. A devious plan takes shape. Let's use this chance to gather all the groups in Uljan. A big unity meeting. A fox-like smile curls on his lips. His cronies nod in admiration, as expected from the chairman. Invitations to a feast laced with danger are being dispatched. Chapter Transition / Anti-Piracy PSA. Moving on. Chapter Transition / Scene Setting Panel. Moving on. The day of the Unity meeting arrives. The corridors of Wolia Media are filled with heavy, deliberate footsteps. One figure in white shoes glides through the shadows, silent as a ghost. Elsewhere, Chairman Kang Suk-jin marches purposefully with his suited entourage, each step echoing with authority. On the surface, it's a feast of unity. In the shadows, countless eyes watch, countless schemes are already in motion. Outside the building, the parking lot is tense. Guards in suits stop an orange-jacketed young man stepping out of a blue SUV. What are you looking at? Which company? Here to fight. The car door handle clicks menacingly, but the young man just replies, calm and almost amused. Aren't all the company guys called here? Isn't it just for team bonding? He smiles. Let's go in. That smile leaves the guards momentarily speechless. A group of company representatives, each with their own agenda, walk towards the banquet hall, chatting and laughing. There's going to be good food, right? Looking forward to it. Heh. The mood seems light, like any corporate party. But when they reach an imposing wooden door, a staffer in a white shirt sternly reminds them. The representatives are in a meeting. Please be quiet. A collective gasp. Oh, echoes. Smiles vanish. The illusion of a simple team bonding event shatters against cold reality. The massive conference hall is filled with the powerful figures of Uljan's underworld and legitimate business. Standing at the head of the long table is the host of this feast at Hong Gate, Chairman Kang Suk-jin. He raises a glass, a perfectly crafted social smile on his face. Thank you all for gathering here for Uljan's unity. His voice booms with authority, but every pair of eyes in the room is filled with suspicion and calculation. Unity? Who are you trying to fool? The formalities end, and the daggers come out immediately. One rep in a brown suit offers an apology for not visiting often. A provocateur in burgundy seizes the moment. Why the sudden summons for a meeting? The room falls silent. Kang Suk-jin's smile disappears. This is a full company meeting held at my request. His gaze sweeps the room with undeniable pressure. You speak after I'm finished. That single sentence slams down on the provocateur's defiance. The truth is laid bare. Kang Suk-jin drops all pretense, slamming Sankal's name onto the table. We're here today because the Double Knife Gang is breathing down Uljan's neck. Someone protests. Shouldn't your Wolia gang handle that? Kang slams the table again, roaring, you think scolding a few punks will make him back off? He's here in Uljan with his whole crew. He scans the room with a razor-sharp gaze. Or is someone trying to drag us all into his chaos to fish in troubled waters? A cold voice from the crowd replies, so what? The powder keg is lit. Kang Suk-jin points a finger, yelling at a blonde-haired man in the corner. Hey, Bumriel, if Wolia gang collapses, who do you think is next? We all need to defend Uljan. The man named Bumriel is caught off guard by the aggressive demand, stammering, well, that's. Kang is forcing everyone to choose a side. No unity means being picked off one by Sankal. It's all or nothing. Chaos erupts. Another rep in glasses stands, his voice icy. Sankal will swallow Uljan whole without a second thought. But the blonde Bumriel scoffs from his corner, a mental image flashing of a bloody bottle to the head. He fires back at Kang Suk-jin. Defend Uljan? That's rich. Who is it that retired representative limb of Inseong entry? Kang explodes with rage. Are those rumors still floating around? That was nothing but a smear campaign against me. The entire room gasps in shock. Trust? In the face of profit, it's worthless. Faced with accusations, Kang Suk-jin grins his trademark vicious grin, gold tooth glinting. He tosses out a poison bait, too tempting to refuse. Whoever takes care of Sankal gets all of Inseong entry's business. A wave of shocked gasps sweeps the room. Someone exclaims, "That's a massive deal." Even Bumriel's smirk transforms into a calculating gleam. This changes everything. Sounds tempting, doesn't it? Amidst the greedy murmurs, only one man remains expressionless, his cold eyes observing the circus as if it has nothing to do with him. The venue shifts to a lavish banquet hall. Piles of food line the tables under a Wolia Media attended sign. A few men walk in, and one sniffs the air. What's that smell? Before he can finish, asterisk whoosh, asterisk a platter of prawns suddenly erupts in flames, belching black smoke. The Grand Unity feast opens with a bang, literally. An accident? Or a deliberate act of sabotage? The fire's out, and the feast finally begins. Delicate desserts, lavish dishes. A burly man in a purple shirt wolfs down food noisily. Munch, slurp. His companions laugh. Hey, eat slowly. Ha! A piano plays softly in the background. The atmosphere seems jovial. But how long can this fake peace last? Every smile hides a blade. In one corner of the hall, the scene changes drastically. A group of rough-looking gangsters are raiding the buffet, grabbing plates and yelling with zero decorum. When was the last time I ate this good? Nearby, respectable businessmen in suits watch with disdain. Seeing gangsters party at a five-star hotel is weird. Give it a rest. Another observer chuckles. They're probably making as much as we are now. They're not thugs, they're businessmen. And look, he points, the moment business is on the table, their whole demeanor shifts. Fascinating, isn't it? Profit, the ultimate sedative and stimulant. In a hallway, two men have a brutally realist conversation. All you ever think about is money. Of course, the other grins like a fox. The world runs on it. If the profit's big enough, loyalty is just a word. He paints the vision. Once Sankal is taken care of, we'll all be rolling in cash. Even the lowest foot soldier will earn more than some corporate drone. His companion shakes his head. You bastard, you've got the mind of a schemer. The Foxman smirks. Is it that obvious? The cold blood of capital is already flowing through these streets. In a private dining room, the atmosphere is dead serious. A stern old man with a red headband warns the black-haired youth before him. One wrong move with your fists or your mouth, and your life is over, man. Sweat beads on the youth's forehead. He turns to face three men with varying expressions. Master, I don't think I can keep my promise. His gaze is unwavering. Just this once, please understand. If I back out now, my friends will be in danger. That youth is our protagonist, Cao Dongji. For his friends, he's choosing to step into the most dangerous quagmire. The scheming continues. A mechanical arm randomly tosses 4 dice. Fate's gears engage with a swish. Meanwhile, at the entrance of a top-tier club called Royal, the blonde provocative Bumriel from the meeting is struck from behind with a club. Thwack! He's then kicked violently through the doors. Inside, his assailant, a long-haired man, smiles, pointing a bat at the fallen chairman. You'd make such a serious decision for In-Seong Entry's business? Kong Suk-jin, blood at his mouth, sneers back. It's insignificant. I can give it away anytime. In the game of power, everyone is a pawn, and anyone can be sacrificed. The secret meeting presses on. Someone stresses that whoever acts first to secure the business gains a huge advantage, but failure means ruin. Someone else hypocritically suggests, let's try to avoid casualties. The long-haired man, twirling a baseball bat, the same one from the club beating, proposes the final plan. If we team up to eliminate Sankal and share the profits. How about it? The idea meets with silent approval from all present. A hunting alliance targeting Sankal is officially formed in the dark. Their prey remains blissfully unaware. With the plan set, the mood turns strangely enthusiastic. Chairman Kong Suk-jin slaps his thigh, exclaiming, "Excellent plan. Now, any volunteers?" The long-haired man who proposed the alliance jumps in to claim the prize. Donghee Engineering CEO is still reorganizing. This job isn't for him. He pounds his chest, voice rising. How about Biomrian Construction? I'll take the lead. Another quickly raises a hand. We have soul connections. We'll handle intelligence. It's time to divide the spoils, and everyone is scrambling for the biggest piece. The Feast of Greed has just begun. But will Sankal, the main course on their menu, just lie down and wait? The storm of blood about to engulf Uljan will spare no one. In the dimly lit boardroom, the men from Hokel Fisheries are restless. The one with the goatee slams his hand down, telling everyone that when it comes to knives, it's their specialty. But the mysterious boss just smirks. Enough talk, he says, everyone's here. Their plan is simple. Only one road leads into Uljan. When those soul guys arrive, crush them instantly. One moment, they're toasting loudly to Uljan, glasses raised high in a raucous celebration. But the scene shifts abruptly into a brightly lit hallway where suited figures are scrambling for their lives. As the sun sets on the rooftop, the bald man tightens his grip on an iron bar, facing off against a grim-faced Olim. The celebration was just a prelude. The knives were already drawn. In the shadows, the bald Kong Sukjin lays down a brutal command to his right-hand man. You hear that? Set it in motion. His scheme is pure poison. Have their Wolia media fight the Seoul Syndicate head-on. If they win, they're the heroes who defended Uljan and gain all the glory. If they lose, the arrogant local bosses take the fall for overstepping. Heads, we win. Tails, they lose. As night falls, the streets of Uljan are anything but quiet. A purple sports car tears through the dusk, its engine screaming like a beast. A storm is gathering momentum, hurtling toward its destination. The highway to Uljan is unusually busy tonight. Under a cold, full moon, streaks of headlights cut through the darkness, all converging toward the Uljan exit sign. The calm before the storm is nearly over. The call comes in. Boss, the Seoul guys just passed by. On the other end, a voice chuckles with satisfaction. Good work. Fall back. The watchers retreat. The target's location is locked in. The trap closes silently. In the outskirts, CEO Lim receives the report, a hunter's grin spreading across his face. They just entered Uljan. Perfect. These bastards are done for. There's only one way in. Turning, his excitement spikes. Confirmed intel? The Seoul scum are staying at the Bonga Motel. After the confirmation, he declares coldly, every lodging business in Uljan is under Biomrian Construction's control. Surveying the ranks of his men standing ready, Kong Suk-jin offers a rare compliment to CEO Lim. That's why I like you. You're thorough. The praise sends a ripple of shock through the ranks, but no one dares speak. Tonight, the entire local power structure of Uljan has become pieces on his chessboard. The BBONGGA Motel. In the night, the red building glows with garish neon. It stands like a marked pin on the map of Uljan, silently awaiting the storm about to break. Unbelievable. Facing a whole mob, Dong-gil charges in completely solo. His best friend Ho Cheol freaks out screaming, "Are you nuts?" Onlookers sneer, "Think you're invincible?" But just look at that smirk on Dong-gil's face. Pure calm. Why charge alone? Because deep down, he knows his crew has his back. No question. Red's got two knives out now. This is serious business, not your average street punk. But Dong-gil, he just tightens his fists and steps forward, lobbing an insult, living up to your nickname. Huh? Weapons are all you got. That's it. Red sees absolute red, screaming, "You little punk." The fuse is lit. Red scores a hit, slicing Dong-gil's side. He gloats. Hurts, right? Too late for regrets now, you cocky brat. Dong-gil's in pain, but his mouth is still running, all talk with a knife. Act like a scratch means you win. That sets Red off completely. With a sick smile, he vows to tear that smart mouth apart first. He throws a heavy kick, but just as he thinks he's won, Dong-gil's counterattack explodes. The counter is instantaneous. Sucking up the pain, Dong-gil channels all his fury into his fist. The brutal, precise power honed in the mountains by that crazy monk. It all comes out. One thunderous punch lands flush on Red's sneering face. No flinching, no retreat. Just raw force answering force. The punch sends Red over the edge. He's frothing, eyes bloodshot, both knives flashing. Die, you brat. Blades whip through the air, aiming to shred. Dong-gil twists desperately, avoiding a fatal strike, but his back isn't so lucky. Ripped open. As he crashes down, Red looms above him, laughing with a face straight out of a nightmare. It's gone wrong. Dangerously wrong. Red's speed is on another level now. Unhinged. His knives move like living things. Snicker snack. Dong-gil ducks one, but the second and third are already there, throwing knives thud into his head. Blood sprays. His speed is completely different. This is dangerous. Panic flares in Dong-gil's mind. Red roars. Where do you think you're running? Transforming into a whirlwind of red rage and steel. In the final frame, a cold blade is at Dong-gil's throat. Life and death on a razor's edge. The blade stabs for his throat. At the last possible millisecond, Dong-gil wrenches his neck aside with every ounce of strength. Did I dodge? The blade scrapes by, drawing a line of blood. He's shocked he's alive. But Red is utterly bewildered, eyes wide with disbelief. And just as Dong-gil processes his escape, screams echo from another part of the fight. Dong-gil. There, Ho Cheol cradles a heavily injured, blood-soaked CEO Lim. The battle is spiraling. Red's lackeys are still howling with laughter. That's our boss Sanko. Look at that punk now. But in the center of it all, Red's face tells a different story. Not triumph, pure, unadulterated shock. Why'd he stop? Because Dongil, cornered and bleeding, shot his hand out and seized the incoming blade in a vice-like grip. Huh, he read my attack. The game just changed. The counteroffensive starts now. The moment the blade is caught, Dongil's other comrade, the calm, blue-haired one watching from the sidelines, moves. His voice is Arctic chill. I'll make sure you never hold a knife again. Before Red can blink, a sickening crunch echoes. Red's knife arm bends the wrong way. The weapon clatters to the ground. With their leader neutralized, the battle flips on a dime. Seeing their chance, Ho Chiol's crew erupts. Sankal is down. Now's our chance. Take them all out. In the pouring rain, the locals, humiliated for too long, charge like unleashed tigers into the besooted thugs from Seoul. The fight descends into total bloody chaos. The dust settles. Dongil stands panting amidst the wreckage, surrounded by fallen foes. A man in a blue jacket, someone with obvious authority, walks over with a grin, clapping his shoulder. Dongil, nice work. That simple phrase is more than praise. It's an announcement. The name Cao Dongji is now officially on the board in Uljan's underworld. Word travels fast in the underworld. The real power in Wolia, the bald and calculating Kang Suk-jin, gets the report immediately. His face darkens. Who's the young guy who took down Sankal? An aide whispers. An intern Kim Ho Chiol brought in. The pieces click into place for Suk-jin. Ho Chiol's been acting up, and now his friend too. Without hesitation, he issues a chilling order. Once we clean this up, set up a private meeting. Dongil's victory didn't earn him glory. It painted a target on his back for the most venomous snake in the room. Sankal lost, but the game isn't over. The defeated boss is dragged before the Yunga Motel, forced to his knees. A furious executive raises a knife, ready for cleansing. Sankal, you bastard, taste your own medicine. But just as the blade descends, Kang Suk-jin's voice cuts through. Wait a second. Hold on. He stops everything, a calculating glint in his eye. To him, a broken tool might still have a use. Inside a Wolia stronghold, news of the boss's decision to spare Sankal triggers an explosion. A furious underling, eyes bloodshot, screams at an executive trying to stop him. Why are you stopping us? The exec fires back. If we force him out for one loss, what does that make us? Meanwhile, in the shadows, another figure watches. His eyes burn with fury and a chilling sense of betrayal. No way. Is he going to abandon me and recruit Sankal instead? The seeds of paranoia and civil war are already taking root. The tense standoff outside the motel continues. Kang Suk-jin, cigarette dangling, barks at the furious executives. BM Ryan, I told you to stop. They push back. Why are you telling us to stop? Suk-jin doesn't answer with words. His response is a single, menacing close-up, radiating pure authority. The message is clear. He makes the calls here. Execute or exploit. That's his decision alone. Back at HQ, the real argument starts. A furious exec in a brown suit slams the table. These bastards don't know their place. Kang Suk-jin just smirks, cold as ice. Looks like the bosses have some complaints. He lays out his calculus. If we force Sankal to retire, what do we gain? We still need the company running. But the other side isn't having it. They spit back. Even after all this, you still say that? Getting a settlement is the better deal. Money. It's always the quickest fuse for gangland fireworks. The camera shifts to the losers. Sankal's lieutenant, bandages soaked with blood, kneels on the floor. They weren't executed. They were given a choice. Hush money and exile. The lieutenant's face contorts with humiliation and rage. They're telling me to take some hush money and walk away? But then he looks at his wounded, terrified men behind him. The fury drains, replaced by utter despair. Head bowed to the ground, voice ragged, he pleads, please let my guys find a place here. In the underworld, survival can be a heavier burden than pride. Kang Suk-jin stands before the broken man, hands clasped behind his back. His smile is a masterpiece of cruel victory. Looks like they finally understand their situation. Looking down, his tone is almost casual, but every word cuts deep. Wouldn't it be better for Uljan companies to handle Uljan business? He leans in close, gold tooth glinting. If you want to retire, is that what you want? It's not a choice. It's total humiliation and subjugation. Somewhere dark, Sankal himself grits his teeth, pain and resentment warring on his face. I'll give up. But the true source of his fury isn't the man who beat him tonight. It's another face that haunts his thoughts. If it weren't for that bastard, this wouldn't have happened. A new, more personal, more deranged target for vengeance takes root in his mind. I never thought a guy like him would be in some backwater like Uljan. Cut to the glittering neon of the city at night. The towering Wolia Media building stands illuminated. A group of figures gathers at its base. One voice, low and resolute, cuts through. Let's go. A new chapter begins, but doesn't lead towards the light. It descends deeper into the city's shadowy game of power. Dongil and Ho Cheol are summoned to the chairman's office, completely caught off guard. Ho Cheol is buzzing, guessing about a promotion, but Dongil stays cool. While they're still trying to figure it out, the door bursts open. In walks Kong Suk-jin, flanked by his most trusted men, wearing a wide smile. No need to stand up, sit comfortably. That sudden, overwhelming friendliness sends a chill down their spines. In the office, Kong Suk-jin doesn't hold back on the praise. Dongil, your recent work left an impression. He turns the charm on Ho Cheol. Ho Cheol, you and your friend. I have high expectations. His underlings chime in instantly. The stage set, Suk-jin issues his first command to Dongil. Bring it out. Dongil's reply is stone-cold serious. Yes, sir. The first test of loyalty has arrived. Suddenly, things start thumping onto the floor in the office. Brick after brick of 50,000 won bills. Gold bars. A mountain of wealth materializes in seconds. Suk-jin's voice comes from the side, a low murmur. The only thing I can offer is money. It might seem materialistic, but I still need your help. It's the first lure and the heaviest chain. This mountain of cash isn't a reward. It's a binding contract written in greed. The most shocking moment yet. Amidst the mountains of cash and gold, the chairman of Wolia, the feared Kong Suk-jin, bows deeply to Dongil and Ho Cheol. His forehead nearly touches the floor. Please help me. The other executives are aghast. Chairman, this is too much. Bowing to these kids, what does that make us? Suk-jin straightens up, the same smile on his face. What's wrong with bowing if it means securing talent? These guys deserve respect. This is next-level manipulation. A calculated show of humility that's far more dangerous than any bribe. Dongil gets fired up, laying down his one condition. I want the Ulgin project handled transparently. I'm asking you. An executive tries to soothe the chairman. Inside, Dongil is reeling. I didn't expect him to think this much about me. He really wants to handle it transparently. But that realization is instantly swallowed by a tidal wave of panic. He grabs his head in despair. If my father finds out, it'll be a disaster. The iron fists forged in the mountains are still bound by the unbreakable, invisible chain of his cop father. Dongil wrestles with the choice, but ignoring him when he's asking like this feels wrong. Is there no way? Finally, he turns, locking eyes with Suk-jin, and offers his compromise. Chairman, I'll do it. Only until the redevelopment project stabilizes. Ho Cheol gasps beside him. Suk-jin bursts into booming, satisfied laughter. Will you? Good decision, young man. His right-hand man chimes in, dripping with sarcasm. This guy's something else. If you were going to accept, why make our chairman bow twice? Huh, it's not a compliment. It's a pointed reminder of his place. The moment Dongil and Ho Cheol leave, Suk-jin's demeanor shifts. In another luxurious office, he jabs a finger at other executives, his tone hardening. Hey now, vice chairman. The one in need bows first. That's the rule in this business. He shrugs off their sneers about him acting like an amateur. The camera pulls back, revealing Ulgin's chaotic neon nightscape. And in that neon jungle, one sign glows, Bacchus Business Club. That's where the real business gets done. Inside Bacchus, smoke hangs thick. Suk-jin raises a glass, laying his cards bare to his vice chairman. Credit to you two for finding those naive young guys. Hand them the Ulgin redevelopment, and we can skim billions extra. Easy. He gleefully asks his secretary about a special bonus. Another exec swirls his drink and muses, finding talent with both skill and blind loyalty is rare these days. The business, it's changed. They aren't toasting new allies. They're toasting a new piece on their board. Obedient, useful, and utterly disposable. The scene ends, leaving only the heavy scent of conspiracy hanging in the air. Tensions boil over inside the organization. Two so-called executives, one in green, one in black, are at each other's throats. One screaming that he's still part of this, the other's flexing as the right-hand man. They're seconds away from throwing down. That is, until a single icy glare, a roar from the chairman, and everyone freezes. That bat he mentions isn't just for show. The after-party looks more like a crime scene. Empty bottles and spilled plates in the VIP lounge. Even the singer's sweet tune can't mask the emptiness. The chairman, sitting in his opulent booth, isn't celebrating. His mind is already on the next move. The party's over. Time to get to work. This is it. The direct order. The chairman puts down his glass, and with a single, chillingly calm sentence, he assigns a bloody task. 3 unions causing trouble? He needs his most loyal tank, Hyung, to handle it. Look at that smile on his face. This is how the big boss operates. A quiet word from the throne can start a war. The office door swings open. The chairman lounges on his luxurious sofa, a sinister smile playing on his lips. He calls out to the vice chairman, who snaps to attention in a heartbeat. But then a name, Po In Seong. The vice chairman's face, it's pure terror. Just a name, and he completely shatters. Who the hell is this big guy? As the night deepens, the plot thickens. The vice chairman is finalizing calls, but all eyes are on the shadowy figure behind him, the chairman. His words hang in the air like a ghost whisper. Time for an internal cleanup, too. It's not just the enemies outside he's after. The purge is starting from within. Something's off at Wolia Labor. The guy in the green jacket is frantically shuffling through papers, muttering to himself. Everyone's staring, thinking he's lost it. Then he cracks a wild grin, slams the papers down. I split it evenly. One for each of you, take it. The room goes dead silent. Back at school, the boys are dreaming out loud with their new cash. Some fantasize about food, another about martial arts school. But when one suggests fighting can be learned, his friend shuts him down hard. Fighting is a talent. Like mine. Yuvana D. Hochiol, voice of reason, steps in. Family comes first. He won't take his share. But he's making up for it. Dinner's on him. Just a heads up about their friend Woong Chi, who eats for 5. In the hallway, Tang Hyung stumbles upon the guys joking around. He immediately sets the tone. This is a company. Show some respect. Call me Tang Hyung. But when he hears Ho Cheol's footing the bill, he cuts in with a grin. Nah, this round's on me. You guys did good. See that? Pure boss energy. And we're off. Tang Hyung transforms into a tour guide, leading the charge with a triumphant point. Everyone, follow me. I'll make sure you drink properly. The bewildered crew trails behind, still processing. An impromptu team bonding night has officially begun. Sidewalk food stall glasses clink. Cheers. The young crew reminisces about simpler times. Tang Hyung gets nostalgic, boasting that back in his school days, if he and his crew rolled out, the whole city of Uljan would be in an uproar. You could just feel the raw energy in his words. Over drinks, Tang Hyung can't stop gushing about the chairman. His friends are rolling their eyes. Do you have to bring him up every chance? Is he really that great? But the answer is unanimous from the believers. His character is absolutely top-notch. The fanboy worship is off the charts. The mood shifts. A brother leans in, whispering a dark rumor. Cross the chairman, and you disappear. Tang Hyung's mind flashes to the chairman's stern face, and he internally screams, "What are you saying?" He bristles with anger, raising a fist in a vow. I'll bet my hands the chairman isn't like that. Then, he forces himself to settle. Enough. Just drink. Is that loyalty or terror? The party winds down, the table a mess of empty bottles. Jokes fly about bonding through fistfights past, and the bravado kicks in. Let's settle it today. Real men use their fists. But as they leave, Tang Hyung makes a serious promise to one brother, then adds a layer of melancholy. I just wanted things to be comfortable again, like real brothers. Is that too much to ask? These underworld bonds, man. More complicated than any street brawl. One epic night out, and suddenly Tang Hyung has a whole squad calling him brother. As his taxi pulls away, one of the guys thinks to himself, he really reminds me of my older brother. This man, the legend Dongil looks up to, what's his real story? Late night, street side, Dongil and his crew are dissecting the legend of Tang Hyung. Some praise his kindness and loyalty, calling him a model gangster. Others are skeptical. In their world, too much heart is a liability. Dongil listens quietly. A new thought forms. Not all gangsters are trash, huh? Tang Hyung. The legend gets serious. Someone shares the real story. The chairman got wasted, a fire broke out. Tang Hyung was outside on a call. When he finally realized, the place was already an inferno. Panicked voices from inside screamed, "What about Hama Hyung?" Someone answered, "He's too drunk to get out." Oh God, is this how the chairman died? With the building about to collapse, the sensible ones are screaming. It's too dangerous. Come back. But their warnings are just noise. Tang Hyung sees only one thing. He bellows the chairman's name and launches himself straight into the heart of the blaze. This guy, he's got a death wish. Boom! The room erupts. A shockwave of flame blasts from the boss room door, sending everyone outside reeling. Who went in? Are they insane? Someone cries out. This isn't a rescue. It's a suicide mission. Out of the smoke and rubble, under pouring rain, Tang Hyung emerges, running like his life depends on it, cradling an unconscious, burned man, the chairman. His own back is a mess of wounds. An ambulance is called frantically. They said he nearly died that day. The scars he bears prove it. To this day, guys say he even takes care of guys who get injured in the field. Truly like a real older brother. And that's how a legend like his was born. Dong-gil takes it all in. More stories follow. Another time the chairman was kidnapped, Tang Hyung went in alone to rescue him. He's no joke. Dong-gil's preconceptions about the gang world start to crumble. His loyalty is unmatched. So impressive. The legend of Tang Hyung just keeps growing in his mind. On the surface, everything's sunny. Support banners for the redevelopment project hang between buildings. Local shop owners are shaking hands with Wolia guys, all smiles. We should be the ones thanking you. You won't regret it. Harmony all around. Seems like a win-win. But is it really that simple? And right on cue, trouble arrives. Burly, curly-haired, and cocky. Flanked by his crew, he laughs in their faces. Redevelopment isn't even confirmed, but you're celebrating already? His gaze locks on a Dong-gil. You the punk who took down Sankol. Great. Just what they needed. A new enemy has entered the ring. Talk is over. The first punch flies. This is the proper procedure, bastard. The thug roars, aiming for Dong-gil. But he's ready. A solid block meets the blow. Then, the counter. A punishing punch connects with a sickening crack. Blood sprays. Thwack. Schlap. The street just became a fight club. Chaos erupts. Dong-gil's backed into a corner, defending his friends against overwhelming odds. Blood is already spilling. Then a knife flashes. Kill them, screams an attacker. But just as it seems hopeless, a blur shoots into the fray. Blue hair, ice-cold eyes. It's another player, and he looks lethal. This blue-hair newcomer is a force of nature. A single, devastating kick sends a goon flying. He smirks over his shoulder at the scattering enemy. Did you think we were just bystanders? Another guy, dark-haired and all swagger, chimes in. Bastard, acting all tough. Looks like Dong-gil's got some serious backup. These two play for keeps. Wolia puts its foot down. We're in charge here, so get lost. The warning escalates. Keep interfering, and the chairman himself will go all in on this war. And the parting shot? Show your face again. I'm sending you straight to the ER. The message is clear. This turf war has only just begun. Back in a grimy warehouse, the curly-haired leader is on the phone, face wrecked. What the hell is that guy? He's insane. We're wiped out. On the other end, the chairman's voice dripping with satisfaction. Good job. I'll send you a generous payment. Get treatment. Enjoy some spending money. Listen to that. A true mastermind. His pawns get beaten to a pulp, and he's pleased. Because the bigger the fire starts, the better his excuse to burn it all down. In his opulent office, the chairman concludes his call with elegant cruelty. Get treatment and enjoy some spending money. His vice chairman stands by, sharing the same sinister grin. Everything is going according to plan. To be continued, but a warning flashes from the Thunder team. Strap in. The next storm is approaching. Cut back to Wolia headquarters. A tense ranking match is underway. The chairman's voice booms over the assembled crowd. Silence. He addresses them through a mic. Anyone else challenging Lightning besides Hammer? A ripple goes through the black-suited mass. This challenge has Dong-gil's name written all over it. The official announcement drops like a bomb. Hammer, the guy with a nasty temper even his own juniors hate, turned down a manager promotion. He only wants one thing, to fight. And he's calling out Joe Dong-gil. The MC booms. Then the second ranking match will be between Lightning and Hammer. Dong-gil's confused. Why me? He doesn't know it yet, but this fight is his first shove into the organizational meat grinder. The entire underground scene in Uljan is buzzing. Because guess who's stepping up next? The heavyweight, Hammer Kong Sucheol. They say he's got the skills of a management-level fighter. Everyone's counting Dong-gil out. But look at that smirk on his face. A manager-level fighter? Now he's really interested. The stage is set. The arena is ready. Let the ranking battle begin. The real players never hide their ambition. The rules are brutal. The fight continues until one gives up or collapses. The prize? A shot at the next beast, the Viper. This sea of black suits isn't here for decoration. It's a sign of something far more serious. Let the carnage begin. Trying to steal credit? Not a chance. This hulking brute cuts his partner off with a friendly facade. Let me handle it. If I beat Viper, I'm made. But the guy he stopped isn't having it. He tries to bolt, only to get viciously intercepted and launched across the scene. Too bad, so sad. One hit. Just one hit. The mighty Hammer Kong Sucheol, a manager-level threat, gets completely folded by a single blow from Dong-gil. An instant KO. The audience is floored. Battle over. Dong-gil moves on to the real target. There's Viper, already hitting the bottle. Viper, don't drink too much, he warns. Better come out in top condition, unless you want the same embarrassment. The legend of Lightning is spreading like wildfire. Two veterans in the men's room gossip about the rookie's unstoppable fists. One scoffs that he was the same once, but the other, his eyes gleaming with dangerous yellow light, has a different thought. But now, I'm interested. The spark of conflict is about to ignite. Not everyone likes being part of the discussion. Hearing whispers of, if lightning is on the rise, won't he win? Kang Suchiol's fists tremble with suppressed rage. But I hate being compared, he roars. A friend warns him about Donggil's power, but it's too late. The fuse is lit. The fight explodes into action. Donggil strikes first with blinding speed, but Kang Suchiol counters with a punishing blow. The impact rattles Donggil's entire skeleton. The onlookers are initially impressed, claiming Donggil's blocking everything. But a closer look reveals the truth. Something's off about Donggil's expression. The shock is reaching his very core. Get dizzy. Kang Suchiol mocks. That's why they call me Hammer. You can block it, but you can't stop it. Donggil groans in agony, but he doesn't retreat. Instead, his instincts ignite. He roars back, launching a ferocious counterpunch straight into Kang's face. A brutal, head-on collision of power. The counterattack is relentless. Donggil unleashes every ounce of his hellish training. His fists become a blur of speed and power. But he's just getting started. A savage uppercut detonates under Kang Suchiol's jaw. The fight spills from the training grounds onto the open beach, sand flying as the intensity goes nuclear. Kang Suchiol grins through bloody lips. He really is fast, just like the rumor. But then his expression hardens. But speed alone won't be enough to bring me down. A boss watching from the sidelines calmly observes to his aide. Donggil seems to be struggling. The tide is threatening to turn. Kang Suchiol is in a frenzy. He presses harder, aiming to crush Donggil with each savage blow. Today, I'll break you. Then, something changes. Donggil laughs. A cold, mocking laugh. Don't make me laugh. The next moment, his fist meets the asphalt, shattering the very ground beneath them, and shattering Kang's confidence. Power comes from unwavering belief, and there's still fire in Donggil's eyes. The onlookers piece it together. Look at Kang Suchiol, he's shaken. That's why he's impatient. Meanwhile, Donggil actually looks relaxed. Kang himself knows the clock is ticking. Shit, if this keeps up, IT won't end well. He clenches his fists, the final warning shot fired. Yo Donggil. I'm going all out. There it is. The opening Donggil has been waiting for. The moment Kang Suchiol commits everything, Donggil strikes. He channels all his might into a single point. His fist becomes a cannon shell, powered not by blinding speed, but by pure, earth-shattering force. Power. Overwhelming. Donggil's fist connects in a catastrophic blast. Blood flies, bones shudder, and Kang Suchiol is launched backward through the air. This isn't just speed. This is the destructive fury of a lightning strike. Lightning is impressive. Did Hammer crumble? The answer is painted in crimson on the beach. It's over. Kang Suchiol struggles, but the all-consuming numbness in his fist is the final verdict. He can't get up. Under a clear blue sky, on a beach that should be peaceful, a proud brawler is forced to surrender. His head bows, the words heavy on his lips. I lost. The pride of the Hammer is shattered. But here's a twist. The defeated becomes the biggest fan. Kang Suchiol, the hot-headed Hammer, actually bows his head and calls him young. If anyone dares to mess with lightning, they're dead. He even wants to grab a drink. When I took that last punch, I saw a lightning flash. Defeat turned to respect, with a side of literal sparks. The fight is over, but the real game is just starting. The old guard can't ignore this rise anymore. A veteran in a pink shirt blocks Donggil's path, clearly irritated. You've been sharpening your skills, huh? Donggil looks at him, a cold, confident smile on his lips. It's about time I grew up. Time for the old junk cars to clear the road. The old junk insult is the match to the powder keg. Who are you calling junk? The veteran lunges like a crazed serpent. Donggil's eyes turn to ice. I was being nice and saving your pride, but now you're pushing it. Old guys just don't listen. Crack. His fist explodes forward, connecting with brutal efficiency. Lesson delivered. With a final kick to the metaphorical curb, the ceremony is held. The chairman, in his white suit, makes the official announcement. Blade is promoted to manager. Lightning to assistant manager. Now drink and have fun, the crowd cheers. But in their disciplined rows, their black suits, Donggil sees only the gilded cage of power and obligation. The celebration tastes like metal. The post-fight dinner is a masterclass in social maneuvering. An exec tries to get Donggil to drop the formal Hyung title. Donggil insists it's the rules. Annoyed, the exec plays his own card. As your Hyung, I order you. Call me by my nickname. Dong-gil smiles and accepts. The relationship shifts on the surface, but the undercurrent of power games remains stronger than ever. Blade Hyung, the newly minted manager, lays on the charm thick. He pulls Dong-gil aside, promising connections and support. This is how you build your network. Dong-gil plays along with a polite, "Yes, sir," while internally rolling his eyes. The man is an obvious climber. Dong-gil tosses out a landmine question. "Hyung, do you know where Tank Hyung is?" The friendly smile on Blade's face freezes. The whispers become a roar. Tank Hyung is missing. For real. No calls, no messages, didn't show up at the mandatory meet. If he's really gone, the chairman can't not know. That's what's weird. The unspoken implication hangs in the air like smoke. Tank isn't the type to vanish. Blade listens to the murmurs, his expression growing more and more serious, his own thoughts a mystery. On a pier at dusk, a red-haired young man reaches his breaking point. That's enough. He points a trembling finger at a shadowy figure adorned with a crown-like accessory. Say one more word and you're dead. The threat hangs between them, raw and lethal. To be continued. The real storm clouds are gathering now. A peaceful seaside resort? Don't be fooled. Disciplined, rows of men in black patrol the walkways. A group of civilians walks blissfully unaware, marked with 4 glowing circles from above. A grim-faced man warns his companion in a low, dangerous tone. You shouldn't talk carelessly about dangerous things. The idyllic surface of Uljan barely conceals the monstrous silhouette of Wolia's power, watching, waiting. The handler issues a sharper command. The blue-suited man's glare is a physical threat. There are a lot of people listening. Watch your mouth. His target stutters in fear. Then the order comes. Wait. I'll look into it first. In Uljan, where every shadow might hide an informant, he's the wolf sent to sniff out the truth before it becomes a problem. In the sleek office of Wolia Media headquarters, the chairman's right-hand man delivers a grim report. They are panicking. The pawn named Cao Dongji is growing out of control. Top fighters Mongchi, Hammer, Blade are aligning with him. Even the department heads are keeping a terrified, watchful eye. He's already too big, they warn. Once a disposable tool, he's now a potential threat they fear they can't contain. The chairman, the bald mastermind, is seething with fury. They don't even realize how embarrassing it is. He dismisses his subordinates in a rage. Now alone in his grand, silent office, surrounded by the trophies of his power, a samurai sword, ancient vases, the question haunts him. The question he must answer. What should I do about Cao Dongji? The chairman opens an ornate wooden humidor, selecting a fine cigar with deliberate care. He speaks, his voice a low murmur of regret and cold calculation. There's no one else as good as him at fighting. It's not praise. It's the final epitaph for a masterpiece he's decided must be broken. The chairman is torn. In his mind flashes the image of Dongil's ferocious potential. If he grows just a little more, he could be really useful. A perfect weapon. But the timeline is out of sync. It's too soon to crush him now. Yet the pressure mounts. The cowardly department heads are watching, waiting. Even if they're cowards, if they turn on me, it'll be a pain. The dilemma is clear. Nurture a weapon that might turn on you, or destroy your most powerful asset before it's fully forged. The fate of many hangs on this single choice. At the corporate meeting, the bald chairman, Kang Suk-jin, is preaching unity and teamwork for the company's future. It's all a show. This old fox is a master of the public facade. The moment the meeting ends, he corners Cao Dongji in the hallway. A small, seemingly thoughtful gift is offered with words of praise and inclusion. Dongji knows it's a gilded trap, but he has to play along. Then comes the real show. Everyone else is dismissed. The conference room door shuts and the air freezes. It's just him and his right-hand man, the red-suited Han Sung, the fixer for all the dirty work. Kang Suk-jin's expression shifts. The earlier warmth was pure theater. Now, there's only cold calculation in his eyes. His voice drops to a deadly whisper, giving Han Sung his orders. Monitor the target closely. Report any movement immediately. Han Sung is no novice either. With a sinister smirk, he asks, "And if things go south?" Kang Suk-jin fires back with a question of his own. "Why do you think I hired you?" The message is crystal clear. Use any means necessary, including force. Ansum's green weavens. He's ready to spill blood.